And now, on with the show.
Yo, what's up everybody? It's your boy Mood616 here, and yes, it's finally that time again for another update. Sorry for the late update. I have not had any time to record this video in the last week. I wanted to do it last weekend, so it was right up for the beginning of the month. But it just never materialized, and I've been busy doing so much stuff that I've even had to cancel the podcast one day, and just enough excuses. Here's the update. It's coming right now. So this is going to be everything I picked up in the month of March. So yeah, let's do this. So yeah. I just want to say, if you guys hear any banging or any dogs barking or anything, my dad's just putting some shingles up on my shed right now, so I'm terrified of heights, so I don't do that shit. And so thought I'd come and do this, but I really don't have much time because I'm heading out of town tomorrow morning at 6 in the morning, heading to Toronto, then to Cinema Wasteland. So yeah, all right, let's fucking do this right now. First off, I got a package from my boy Lost Witch Adrian, and yeah, so I'll start off with a note here. Kind of a cool little note here. I told you things were gonna change, Alice. I like that right there. That's pretty fucking cool. But then he wrote on the bottom here, he's like, I feel dumb signing, however, here you go, Moods. Thanks for the support. If I somehow strike it rich and famous, sell it on eBay. Signed, Lost Witch right there. I don't know if you guys can see that, but a little bit of glare up in here. But yeah, what he's talking about here, he actually sent me a painting of Maniac, because he knows I'm such a big fan of Maniac. He did this himself here. Looks fantastic. Very, very cool. This was actually just a throw-in. This is not what I bought off him. It's signed right there. So this was really, really awesome, Adrian. Thanks a lot for sending this. Just much appreciated. He also threw in some flyers here for the film Nails that is being released on VHS in his company. Some swag, but here's what I actually bought off him. House of the Devil VHS. It's actually still sealed up, which is really fucking awesome. So he was selling some stuff, needed some funds for his film, so I thought I'd contribute to that, pick that up right there. And thanks again, Adrian, for throwing in this Maniac painting. It's really awesome. Really, really cool stuff. Thanks, buddy. And yeah. Alrighty. So starting off the update, I might as well start off with a couple of VHSs that I picked up. First up here, Legend of Werewolf. This one right here has Peter Cushing in it. Didn't really know much about this one, actually. I don't even know if it's on DVD. Probably is, but I don't know. But grabbed that one for really, really cheap. I grabbed this one because this is a TV film that came out in the 70s, 76 or something. And it's called Nightmare in Badham County. Now, the thing that intrigued me about this movie is that it's a rated R film. And for the 70s to be rated R is crazy, but it's a TV film, so it was obviously released uncut, but I'm really curious to check this out. And last up, of course, you know, with Scream Factory releasing the Blu-ray this month, and I already own the DVD, had to grab the VHS of Invaders from Mars. It was sitting there, and I just couldn't leave it on the shelf, so I was like, why not grab Invaders from Mars? And that's all I grabbed for VHSs this month, actually. It was pretty standard. Getting into the DVDs, picked up lots of really cool stuff. Seen most of it this month too, actually. First up here is The Darkness, the vampire version, unrated, from Barrel Entertainment, out of print. Got this for $12. Like super stoked about that. Finally got around to watching this, and this is just so much fucking fun. If you love low budget splatterfest, gory splatter, you'll love this shit, man. It was just so much fucking fun. I had such a blast with this. Couldn't recommend it enough. Awesome. So fucking happy to finally have that right there. Next up, the next few here from Mondo Macabro. First up, Mystics and Bally. From 1981, this is fucking awesome. Such a strange film. Reviewed this one on the podcast. It's just a really odd film, but Indonesian film. I highly recommend this. I couldn't recommend it enough, actually. It's really, really amazing. Fun stuff. Next up here is The Girl in Room 2A. And then one for Mondo Macabre. This one actually didn't come in a red case, and it was brand new, so. But, you know, it was actually pretty decent. It wasn't nothing overly spectacular, but it was okay. It had its moments. It was decent. Next up here is a Wang Wang. Double feature. The first film was a Wang Wang film. For Your Height Only. Oh my god. Might even be the funniest fucking movie I've ever seen in my life. I laughed so hard through this movie. It was just so entertaining. And the other feature on this double bill is Bruce Lee, L-E, in Challenger of the Tiger, which I haven't watched yet, actually. But yeah, of course, for your height only with Wang Wang, you know, he was, you know, I think he was like a couple inches taller than Vern Troy or something like that. But he was an Indonesian star, died pretty young. But obviously a James Bond ripoff, but fucking so much fun. Like I was howling when he talks. It's just so much fun. Yeah. Next up was I'm so happy to find this one because it goes for ridiculous money. It's out of print. I'm not even sure if this one ever had a red case for some weird reason. And that's Oswang is how it's pronounced. This is a really fucking cool type of. Basically, it actually even tells you on the front, it says, Filipino vampire feeds on the unborn. So you pretty much know what you're getting yourself into with this one. It's got a really kind of weird storyline about this girl that accepts to play along with this guy as her wife. She's pregnant, and yeah, some crazy shit goes down. This is fucking awesome. Made in 1994, a really strange, odd film. But I never heard anyone talk about this movie, unfortunately, and it's really fucking awesome, man. Really strange. And pretty gory, man. Good effects in it, too. Highly recommend that one. If you can find it for a good price, definitely check it out. Last up for the Mondo Macabros is Satanico Pandemonium. This is obviously like nunsploitation stuff right here. This one was pretty good. I thought the effects in this film were absolutely terrible. So terrible. I mean, I could literally see where the blood was coming out of the fake knives, and I could see like the retractable knives, and oh god, it was annoying me. I hate when I notice shit like that. But you know, overall, it was pretty fun about a nun that starts hearing voices from Satan and starts doing a whole pile of bad shit. It's not bad. It's pretty entertaining for what it is. But yeah, Satanico Pandemonium. Yeah. Next up from Something Weird Video, double bill, Nude of the Moon and Blaze Star Goes Nudist. I haven't watched either one of these, but you know, it's some 60s, you know, low budget, kind of skin flicks. Why not for a couple bucks? Actually, this release here too, strangely enough, is actually on 2 discs. You don't see a lot of these. Most of them are just on 1, so I thought that was interesting. Then we got Dracula, the Dirty Old Man, and guess what happened to Count Dracula from Something Weird Video? This was kind of a cool one to find for a couple bucks, so had to grab it. I haven't watched either one of them, actually. Next up, here's another nunsploitation film, Nude Nuns with Big Guns. I did watch this one. I thought it was pretty good. You know, it had its moments. It's not necessarily a horror film. It's just an exploitation film, really. More specific to nunsploitation. Done kind of grindhouse style. It was pretty entertaining. You know, it had its moments. It wasn't as good as I was hoping it was going to be, but it was still pretty entertaining. It wasn't terrible or anything, but it was okay. Next up here from Wild Eye releasings is Invasion of the Scream Queens, done by Donald Farmer. Directed this, actually. Now, this is a really interesting kind of odd documentary where he's just kind of interviewing Scream Queens of the time, and this was done in like 1991 or 92 or something like that. So it's got, like, you know, those type of girls in it, you know, Brink Stevens and Michelle Bauer among names. But it's kind of weird. It's just a bunch of interviews, and it just kind of ends, and you know, it's kind of entertaining for what it is, but it's not spectacular or anything. But this is apparently the 20th anniversary. It's kind of like shot on, you know, like video too. The quality's not too bad though, but it's all right. It's all right for what it is. I enjoyed watching it. Next up here is Insidious 2, and I finally got around to watching this. I have the first one on DVD, so I just picked the second one up on DVD, but I have to say, man, I'm glad I waited for all the hype to kind of go down for this, of course, with the third one coming out. And not really, I never checked out the trailer. I kind of avoided, you know, a lot of, you know, conversation about the film. And I really fucking enjoyed this movie, man. This was really well done. I thought it was, you know, the way this movie's structured and the story and how they kind of incorporated everything and how they did. I don't want to give anything away, but I really enjoyed this, man. I thought this was fucking done well, man. Really interesting flick, and looking forward to seeing the third one now, actually. So, Insidious 2. And yeah, next up here from Roman Polanski is The Fearless Vampire Killers. Never had seen this movie before. Finally got around to picking it up for a couple bucks. Checked it out, and this movie's funny as shit, man. Really interesting, setting kind of locations, but the characters are quirky as fuck, and it's a fun flick, man. It's pretty long though. It's like 107 minutes, but it's interesting, man. It's kind of like a period piece in a way. It's kind of like it has this like major old school feel to it, but really interesting flick though. I highly recommend it. Even has Sharon Tate in it also, so just before she was murdered. Next up here is a kind of like a new age slasher film from Phase 4, Red Hook. Basically about, it's like the first week of college, and you know, this guy's kind of organized this not treasure hunt, but what do they call those things? Whatever, those fucking hunt things. And so, and then of course people start getting picked off one by one in this game where they're going around New York, and they got to find all these certain things. Each clue leads to the next one. I fucking hated this. Regardless, it was really, really shitty. It was terrible. I really didn't care for it at all. Next up is Joan Crawford in Trog. I believe this is Joan Crawford's last film, I believe, or something like that. But yeah, Trog. I've actually never seen this movie. I still haven't watched this copy. Just got this in, actually, so. But looking forward to checking that one out. Next up here is Shriek of the Mutilated. Really, really cheesy Bigfoot film. Oh, man, I rewatched this. So much fun. It's so bad it's good. It's just, it's kind of one of these films that you don't feel bad laughing at it because it's actually pretty entertaining. So, Shriek of the Mutilated from Retro Media. Pretty cool. Transfers what it is, you know. The next few are just some old school, you know, kind of monster flicks and stuff that I picked up. Horror the Blood Monsters. Haven't watched this one, just got this in. Still Sealed. Next up here, I got Terror is a Man. Been wanting to check this one out for years. Finally got around to grabbing a copy of that. I'm gonna lose this fucking pile down here. And Brain of Blood. So, yeah. Next up from 1984 is a film called Mutant, and they even used the cover from Mutant. This DVD release is so cheap. It's so cheap. It's just like DVD company. I don't know. Featuring Wings Hauer. It's an okay flick, actually. It's kind of like a zombie flick in a way. Infection kind of zombie type flick. It's not too bad though. It's actually all right. So, I didn't mind it. Next up here from Midnight Releasing is Recycled Parts. Basically about a group of friends that kind of breaks down. They take refuge in this house after someone gets hurt. There just so happens to be a doctor around. They go into this place, and of course they're, you know, fucking murdering people, extracting appendages like arms and legs and stuff, and selling them on the black market and doing all that bad shit. Recycled Parts, absolutely fucking terrible. Really, really low budget, but just boring and shitty, and just you just don't care about anything that's going on in it. Organism. This one right here is actually a TV film. I think it goes by a different name or something like that too. Basically about this organism that's been hiding out in, not hiding out, but has been kind of locked up underneath this military base in this certain room. Anyways, it gets loose and starts wreaking havoc on, you know, the people around the area and stuff. You know, it sounds pretty cliched and kind of shitty, but it actually wasn't that bad, surprisingly, for a TV film. They didn't really show the organism. I actually kind of liked the idea of what the organism was doing and how it was kind of living and what it was, you know, capable of achieving. It was pretty interesting, actually. So that kind of kept me intrigued. But you know, overall, it's above average, definitely. But you know, of course, the organism's a little CG'd and stuff. There's some pretty shoddy CG at times, but there isn't really a whole lot of it, so it wasn't too bad. I didn't mind it, actually. Next up is The Quiet Ones. I picked this one up for a couple bucks because it was used, and I was like, why not? Might as well check it out. At work one night, checked it out, and really did not care for this one at all. I thought it was super boring. I just hated all the characters in the film, man, because everyone just kept arguing about the same shit over and over and over again. It just kept coming back to the same argument. I'm just like, oh, for fuck's sakes, move on. Nothing too exciting really happens. I didn't care for it. The Asian Eye. You know, I found this one. I've never actually seen this flick. I've never seen the remake either. I generally don't like to watch remakes before I see the original ones, but finally got around to checking out this one, so yeah. The Eye. Next up here from Troma is one I didn't even know that was even released by Troma, to be honest. It's called East End Hustle. I've never even seen this release before, so. But yeah. Have to check this one out, give this one a shot. I don't really know much about it, but yeah. Alright, next up here is a double feature from Dark Sky Films with Barracuda and Island Fury. Barracuda is kind of more like a conspiracy thriller, in a way, using, you know, barracudas as kind of the focus point of, you know, getting people sucked in a little bit. They do have a little bit to do with it, but it's kind of like a conspiracy thriller type horror film about this county that's, you know, obviously there's something wrong with some of the water, and they got to kind of figure out what the fuck is going on and who's involved with tainting all this bullshit and stuff. It's actually pretty entertaining. It's not like that spectacular or anything, but I thought it was pretty decent. Island Fury, not a bad flick either, about these girls that are kidnapped and forced to go to this island where these girls were once at before to, you know, find this treasure and all this shit that's there. It was okay. Island Fury was okay. It has some of the worst fucking acting ever in it, though. Man, the grandpa in this film, he's the grandpa of this little boy that they come across when they first get to the island. So fucking bad. Of course, yeah, when they get to the island, some crazy shit goes down with some, you know, the grandparents and other things that are going on. Don't want to give anything away, but I do recommend this. This is a pretty fun double feature. You can get it for cheap, so Dark Sky Films usually does a good job with their shit. Next up is Motivational Growth. I've talked about this one a few times already on the podcast on a Best of the Blind Buys. This is a fantastic film about a guy that just he's given up on life, doesn't want to leave his home, tries to commit suicide, fails at it, wakes up and starts talking to this big pile of mold voiced by Jeffrey Combs. Really fucking awesome flick, man. That's the short and long of it, but I highly recommend this one. It has a great, like, kind of Nintendo soundtrack to it. Has some, like, comedic moments, but it's kind of serious at the same time. This is just a really good character study. Awesome fucking movie. I couldn't recommend Motivational Growth enough. Awesome flick. Next up is King Kong Lives. You'll see a bunch more King Kong stuff that I picked up. I'm pretty much completed my King Kong collection. But yeah, King Kong Lives. I seen this one years ago. I haven't watched this DVD, but yeah, I gotta watch this one again. And of course, I think this is like the 4th film in the Ring series or something, and that's Sadatico. Man, these ones are all out of order. This is like the sequel to like the Ring 2 or something, or I can't remember how it works out, but the order of these films is all fucked up. I do know the order, I just can't remember right now, but yeah, I haven't watched this one yet, so moving along. I think we're clipping along here. Next up is a film from the 90s I saw on Terror for Tom's channel, and I was like, damn, I couldn't believe this movie actually had a DVD release. I had no idea. And that's The Regenerated Man. Of course, kind of like a lab experiment. These guys are doing lab experiments and shit, and these guys break in, they end up feeding this shit to this guy, and then he has these capabilities of, like, regenerating himself. Really cheesy, low-budget 90s film, but so much fucking charm and fun. I really enjoyed this. It was fun as hell. And, of course, it's got lots of titties in it, too, but good stuff. Good stuff. Next up here is a film with Mike Vogel and Elijah Dushku, and it's called Open Graves. Oh, man, this movie right here was absolutely fucking terrible. Oh, I hated this movie so much. It's about this group of people in Spain. One of the guys gets this game given to him, and it's like some ancient ritual type deal. If you play the game and you lose, basically you'll end up kind of dying in real life. It's kind of like a Final Destination ripoff in a way. Really, there's nothing good about this movie. It's just actually shitty. The CGI is terrible. They got, like, apparently black mambas in fucking Spain, which we know they don't even exist in Spain. There's so many stupid things. I just hated this film, man. It was just bad. Really, really bad. Next up from Dark Sky Films is The Last Hunter. This is directed by Antonio Margheriti. Haven't watched this war film yet, but I've heard nothing but good things about it. I just have not gotten around to checking that one out yet. Looking forward to that one, though. Next up here is The Snake Woman's Curse from Synapse Films. Been after this one for a long time. It's another film from 1968 that I need to see. I've heard good things about this, but, you know, another one for my Synapse collection. Need to check that one out soon. Next up is a film that was reviewed on Body Bags a long time ago, I think by Danny, and he recommended it, and it's called Countdown, from a couple years back. Basically about these Asians that are living in New York City. They've kind of done some bad things in their past that come back to haunt them. When one night they decide that they need some party favors, so they call up this dude they get this number and they call up this guy and they start partying with this dude, and then all of a sudden shit kind of goes crazy from there, and then their past starts kind of coming out, and there's some pretty good interesting focus points in this film. But I think the ending kind of falls a little short, but it's actually pretty entertaining. I didn't dislike this film at all, but it was pretty good for what it was. So next up from, I think this is like from 1957, is The Black Scorpion. Oh fuck, I finally got my hands on this film. I've been wanting to see this for years, and it did not disappoint. Just such great stop motion animation and stuff. It's just fucking fantastic. The huge scorpions look amazing in this. Basically the storyline is a couple of American, I think they're like anthropologists or something, or geologists, no, anthropologists, I can't remember. But anyways, they're down there, they're doing this investigation on like volcano activity and stuff like that, and they come across like this ancient like scorpions that have been managed to live for like millions of years and shit like that. So and of course there's some giant ones, and they start wreaking havoc on the city and shit. It's pretty awesome, man. It's just, 50s cheesiness, but it's fucking awesome. I was really amazed at how visually stunning this film was. And the acting was actually surprisingly really good in it too. So, but yeah, The Black Scorpion, I highly recommend this. Awesome flick. Next up is Killer Party, yeah, totally. Killer Mermaid. This one right here was, I was really actually kind of surprised to see Franco Nero had a part in this film. That was pretty interesting. Basically about these people that, end up going to this island when they're told not to, and they come across like a killer mermaid. Quite obviously. And then this kind of story, once you see the killer mermaid, the story kind of comes out of why it's there. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but I was pretty entertained by this film, but I think it could have been a lot better, but it actually was pretty good, though. So, next up, a couple 50s films. I've been on this 50s kick lately with a lot of films. Both are from 1959, The Giant Gila Monster and The Killer Shrews. The Giant Gila Monster is pretty fucking... It's pretty cheesy for what it is. It's like a giant lizard just kind of terrorizing this town. And of course, the killer shrews are mutated shrews. These scientists are working on something, and they end up mutating these shrews, and they're just giant shrews that are terrorizing this island. Pretty fun stuff, man. The Giant Gila Monster was okay. It was pretty average, but the Killer Shrews is fun as hell. I really enjoyed that movie. Next up here is one that I've heard nothing but mixed reactions about. Some people loved it, some people hated it, and I can see why people didn't like it, but I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty good take on what it was, and that's Afflicted. Pretty interesting, kind of like, almost like superhero vampire-ish found footage film about a guy that gets infected and turns into this vampire, and also he has like superpowers. Pretty interesting flick, I thought. I was entertained throughout the whole thing. I wasn't bored or anything like that, so yeah. Wasn't bad. Next up here is just one from my Anchor Bay collection. That's Night of the Living Dead Anchor Bay edition. This is the one, the extended cut with like the alternate music and all that bullshit. Don't really care for it at all, to be honest. Yeah, it's got like 15 minutes of new scenes, different score and shit. I actually don't really care for this cut of the film or the music, so, but just one for the collection. Next up here is a rape revenge film I have not watched yet. They All Must Die. This looks super, super bad and low budget, but I can't wait to watch that one, actually. Next up is a Stuart Gordon film from the 2000s, and it's called King of the Ants. It's kind of more like a thriller type action type film, but with revenge. Well, it's basically like a thriller revenge film about this guy that does a job for this mobster. They decide not to pay him. They fucking torture the shit out of him, and then he comes back for revenge and shit. Not bad, actually. It's got some pretty interesting people in this one. George Wendt is in this film from Cheers, of course. Yeah, Vernon Wells and who the fuck is the other guy? Daniel Baldwin. One of the Baldwins. Yeah, Daniel Baldwin is the fucking asshole in this film, but pretty good film, man. King of the Ants. I enjoyed it. Next up is Brides of Blood. This is the first part in the Blood Island trilogy. This was okay. It's not bad, about some humanitarians that go to this island to help out these people that live on the island and stuff, and then they notice that there's something wrong with some of the shit that's on the island, like plants are moving and things are kind of mutated and shit. So then I gotta figure out what the fuck to do, but not bad. It's kind of drags at times, and it's kind of, the script is kind of convoluted a little bit too, contrived, but this is the second part in this trilogy, Mad Doctor of Blood Island. This one I have not watched yet, actually. Yeah, I'll get around to watching. It's from 1968, I believe, also. So, yeah, gotta check that one out pretty quick. And then the third part in that trilogy is Beast of Blood, I believe this is the third part. Yeah, Beast of Blood is the third one. I think this is actually the best one, from what I've heard, but gotta check that one out. This one is from 1934, or 30, I think it's 1934, and that's Maniac. Basically, kind of like a Black Cat type, Edgar Allan Poe type story-ish. Murders in the Rue Morgue type deal, about a guy that kills this professor, takes his identity, and then, you know, kind of assumes his position. It's pretty interesting. It's trying to sustain, it's kind of like a Reanimator kind of focus to it in a way. You know, it's okay, but the acting in this film is absolutely so fucking bad and annoying that it's actually hard to get into the movie. You know, it's one of these films that's just, oh god, it's aggravating. And it's really short too. It only runs 51 minutes. It feels super long though. It's not really a great film. From Lars von Trier, Melancholia. I've yet to watch this movie. I've heard really good things about it, but grabbed it because it was super cheap and might as well. It's Lord von Trier. Next up here is Manson family movies. This one right here, I actually did not really care for either. It's basically just kind of like shot like home videos and stuff, and it kind of just feels like it was just kind of put together. It was fucking boring as hell, man. I was super bored watching this shit, man. I don't know. It just did nothing for me. Next up here is Body Rock. This is an original Anchor Bay release, so I had to grab it, but this is like an 80s breakdancing film. Oh my god, this is like the epitome of cheesiness right here. So fucking cheesy, man. Oh, I loved it. It was so much fun. I highly recommend Body Rock. Great stuff. Next up, another one from Anchor Bay here is Liana Quigley's Horror Workout. Yeah. Well, I think Anchor Bay released this one. This is actually a bootleg. I guess some dude had ordered this off of eBay and got this fucking shit in there. So, but it actually kind of looks like super legit though, until you open it up. But yeah, Liana Quigley's Horror Workout. So anyways, this gave it to me for free. I was like, why not? I'll take it, fuck. Next up here is the newest installment in the Body Snatchers saga, and this is called Invasion with Nicole Kidman and Daniel Craig. You have to watch this one. I heard it's pretty shitty, so whatever. Had to pick it up. We're doing a show on the Invasion films sometime, so. Next up here is Act of Vengeance from 1974, rape revenge film. Really great stuff about a bunch of girls that are raped by this guy. They form a group and go after anybody, and him of course, you know, to exact their revenge and shit like that. Fuck yeah, this movie's awesome. Really, really highly enjoyed this. Great stuff. It's one of these burn-on-demands though, but the picture quality is absolutely outstanding. Looks really, really great, so, but yeah. Act of Vengeance, and yeah.
It's intermission time, folks, so hurry, hurry, hurry. Step right over to our refreshment center for the most extravagant array of refreshment goodies ever assembled under one roof. Enjoy breathtaking, mouth-watering goodies, everything from a snack to a delicious full meal. At our refreshment center, you'll find a large variety of goodies to satisfy your hunger, your thirst, or your sweet tooth. So hurry, hurry, hurry. Visit our refreshment center now.
Oh yeah, moving along with the DVDs here. Also from Synapse Films is Thriller, A Cruel Picture. Finally got around to getting this. I'd seen it years ago. Just, fucking awesome rape revenge film. Of course, this is the one, the uncut version that has like the hardcore sex in it too. Which is fucking nuts. What's her name? Christina Lindbergh in this film, man. She's just so fucking hot. But yeah, really kind of, you know, very notorious Swedish rape revenge film. Thriller, fucking awesome film. Loved it. Then we got, of course, we got Gator Bait. Not really a rape revenge film, more of like, just kind of like a revenge film in a way. Even if that, I guess, yeah, I guess it's a revenge film. It's not a rape revenge film. But Pretty interesting flick, I have to say. Pretty low budget stuff, but you know, the girl that plays the lead in here. She actually was a Playboy model. Ended up actually dying a few years later in a car accident, which sucks because she was like super hot too. But pretty interesting setting, you know, like on the bayou and stuff like that. But yeah, fun stuff. I enjoyed it. This one right here is more of a rape revenge film. Is Gator Bait 2. Basically, the little boy from the first one's all grown up in this, and he gets married, and his wife gets, you know, kind of gang raped by these fucking piece of shit rednecks, and yeah, she goes out for revenge, and yeah, it's okay. It's definitely not as good as the first one, but I still had fun with it though. It's okay. Next up here is another revenge film called Sweet Karma. This one is about a Russian girl that hears about her sister that's been killed in America, so she kind of goes undercover, joins this this mob, not this mob, but she gets hired on into this mob to be, you know, a house cleaner. And then, of course, she infiltrates and just kind of does her own thing. But Sweet Karma actually is pretty cool. Another film, along with Thriller, actually, that the main character doesn't talk in the film, so it's pretty interesting. Next up here is Cannibal Girls from Shout Factory. Really interesting type cannibal film. Eugene Levy is actually in this film from the early 70s. This one came out. Yeah, fucking fun flick, man, about this couple that's on a road trip and they're on a road trip and they hear about this place that has like a pretty crazy past and stuff, and end up going there and some crazy shit goes down, of course. Pretty fun flick though, man. Got some pretty interesting comedic elements to it that I really enjoyed. It's a fun time, really fun. Next up here from Severin is the Video Nasty's Definitive Guide Part 2. Now this is fucking awesome. Absolutely love this, man. So this is like the category. It has a documentary first off, you know, about the censorship, the fucking dude that like ran the censorship like a Nazi. Then the disc 2 and 3 is like the section 3 list, and it has like, you know, of course it has like introductions before all the potential nasties and stuff, and it goes on for like 11 hours, and it's just so fucking entertaining, man. There's like, I think that, yeah, there's 82 titles on this list, and they go through each and every one of them, and it's, you know, they tell you about the titles and the history of them, and then it shows the trailers and shit. Oh, so entertaining. I absolutely fucking loved it. Great stuff. Of course, this, yeah, triple disc set again. Couldn't recommend this enough. I love both sets, man. They're amazing. Next up from Massacre Video is Venus and Furs. Really enjoyed this one. It's kind of like a shot-on-video version of like House on the Edge of the Park. That's pretty much all I'll say about it. This is really fun, though, actually. It's got a pretty cool ending to it. But yeah, I highly recommend this one, especially if you like your low-budget shit. Next up here from Dark Sky Films, another double feature. They call her Cleopatra Wong and One-Armed Executioner. This is more of like Filipino exploitation films. Like, she's like a nun, goes undercover as like a nun, and One-Armed Executioner gets his arm cut off, goes back out for revenge as the One-Armed Executioner. These were fucking fun as hell, man. I had such a blast with both these films. Great action, good times, good stuff. Next up here from Full Moon is a film called Laser Blast. This one, I think, had so much more potential to be like such a good film. This is like a really early Charlie Band production from like the 70s. It's okay. It's about a guy that finds like this laser gun, and the more he uses it, the more he turns into like an alien and shit. It's okay, but I think it just, I just wanted a little bit more from it, but it's pretty fun though. Last up here is, we've got 2 more DVDs, is one of these Tarantino Rolling Thunder picture releases, which is Detroit 9000. It's kind of cool that he released this film. I used to have the VHS of this back in the day. Pretty cool, you know, exploitation type film from the 70s. Yeah, this is, you can't go wrong with Detroit 9000. Good stuff, if you like your black exploitation. And last up for the DVDs is the double disc version of Metal, A Headbanger's Journey, the documentary about heavy metal music. Done by a guy that's actually from Victoria, from the province I live in. Very, very cool stuff. I love this. I saw this actually in the cinema when it first came out. It was playing in like Tinseltown in Vancouver. They used to play, you get like low budget, like independent films there and stuff. Yeah, this is fantastic. Really, really great stuff. Goes through like the whole history of heavy metal and great interviews and shit. If you've never seen this, man, give it a shot, man. It's fucking awesome. I guess that's it for the DVDs. Moving along to the Blu-rays. Yeah. Alright, I actually don't have that many Blu-rays this month at all. I'm still waiting for a bunch of mine to come in. First off, I haven't received my copy of The Beyond. I haven't received my copy of Gone with the Pope. And I think there's a couple other ones or something. I don't know. I'm missing a few anyways, but doesn't matter. I'll have them in the next update, hopefully. First up is Late Phases, Night of the Lone Wolf. This was a really awesome werewolf film, man. I really enjoyed this. You know, I'd heard good things. Was kind of weary about it a little bit. Went in, just loved it. Main character is fun as hell. Werewolves looked awesome. I thought it was just a really fantastic, well done, practical effects werewolf film. And they need to make a little more like this. Really good stuff. Next up here from Mill Creek is a double feature of Galaxina and the Crater Lake Monster. I basically just picked it up for the Crater Lake Monster because I really enjoyed this movie. I think it's kind of like contrived bullshit, but you know, some of the things that happen in this film are so stupid, but the transfer is fantastic on it, man. It looks really great on Blu-ray. I haven't checked out Galaxina yet. I don't really have any interest in it, but the Crater Lake Monster, fun type dinosaur flick. Really great stuff. Finally ended up seeing this film after all these years. I've heard so many good things about it. Finally picked it up for, I think, $8, oddly enough, right? Super 8. Yeah, Super 8. Really cool flick, man. I'm just so happy I finally got around to checking this out because it was very enjoyable. You know, about these little, you know, they're what, 12, 13 years old, making a horror film on Super 8. Takes place in like 1980 or something like that. They witness a huge train crash, some shit, and they also see some shit that comes out of it. And yeah, so now it's, you know, they got to kind of figure out what the fuck is going on. Yeah, it's kind of like I've heard people, you know, compare this one to like the Goonies in a way. I can see the comparison just with like little kids and their kind of close group and stuff, but completely different. But Super 8, really fun flick. Had a blast with it. Next up from Scream Factory is a double feature of Blackula and Scream Blackula Scream. These are such fun flicks, man. They totally look like they're gonna be like, you know, comedic and really stupid comedy films. They're actually dead serious. These films are actually not comedies at all. I've seen Blackula a bunch of times. I've always enjoyed it, but Scream Blackula Scream I think is like the first time I've ever seen it. And I have to say the transfers on both of these look fantastic too. Scream Blackula Scream has Pam Grier in it too, which is really cool. But yeah, I recommend both films. They're really fun. Really great stuff. Great black exploitation, you know, horror films. Great stuff. Next up here is Exterminators of the Year 3000. I know Code Red released this DVD a few years back. Apparently the aspect ratio was all fucked up and the transfer was all fucked up and shit like that too, or something like that. So Scream Factory released it, and you know, it's not a bad post-apocalyptic film. It's not one of the greatest ones I've ever seen, but it's still fun. You know, all these Italian type knockoffs are always entertaining to watch, but you know, it's okay. It definitely has its moments. Next up, also from Scream Factory here is Dark Hall, the sci-fi film that they released about the Jersey Devil. Not very good at all, to be honest. I gave this one just a pass when I rated it. You know, upon thinking about it more, I probably could have given it a lower rating. But you know, the thing is, like, there was times where I was entertaining this, but it's not very good though, man. The CGI is really bullshit in this. The story's a little contrived, and it just feels kind of cheap at times too. So, Dark Hall. Next up is the chiller film from Scream Factory, and that is Animal. Now this one I actually didn't mind. I thought it was okay. It kind of felt like Feast in parts of it, but you know, it was okay. I think they kind of underutilized some of the characters in the film, but you know, at least it was, you know, practical. I had that going for it, so I give it props for that. But it's okay. About this group of friends that are in the bush and they start getting attacked basically by this fucking huge creature here, and they lock themselves into this cabin. They got to figure out how the fuck to get out of there safely and shit. And yeah, it's okay. Next up here from Grindhouse Releasings is Massacre Mafia Style. Duke Mitchell. This film's fucking awesome, man. It's just like, it's kind of like The Godfather, but a little more violent and a little more compressed. More low budget, but the acting's actually pretty decent in this. It's just a fun time. There's a lot of people that get shot up in this, and it's just, it kind of gets to the point real quick and doesn't drag at all. Really good mafia gangster film. Fucking fun as hell. And of course, you know, these guys are just doing such great releases. Can't wait to get my Beyond release. I've seen so many people show it off. Looks great. And Gone with the Pope, I need to get that one in. Fucking pissed me off and both those haven't come, so. But yeah, then next up here we've got Charles Bronson, Death Wish 3. I have 1 and 2, so I had to pick up 3 on Blu-ray, which is actually my favorite one out of them all. Death Wish, the first one is the best one, but this one I just have so much fun with. It's just so ridiculous. It makes me laugh throughout the whole film. So Death Wish 3, and then we got Death Wish 4, Charles Bronson. This one it's fucking so bad. It's actually good. It just feels like it's such a cheap, shitty film, but I love it, man. This is great stuff. And then, of course, we've got, finished off here, we got some King Kong films. We got King Kong Escapes, which is so much fucking fun, man. So much fun. You got, you know, Mecha Godzilla versus, or King Kong versus Godzilla. King Kong versus King Kong, but one of them's like a robotic, like, mecha type deal. It's pretty funny. Awesome shit, though, man. Same director that did, I believe the same guy that did the original Godzilla. Yeah, Honda. This is fun. Really fun flick. Then we got the remake of King Kong from the mid-2000s, Peter Jackson. I'm not actually a big fan of this film at all. I just grabbed it because I didn't own it, and it was $5. So why not? King Kong. It does have its moments, but it's entirely way too fucking long. Way too long. It just takes too long to get going and all that bullshit. And then this is how you do King Kong properly, of course, is the original King Kong Digibook, which I finally got. You know, this one, it goes on Amazon.ca for like, one day it'll be 32, and next day it'll be 15 or 14, next day it'll be 32 again or 30, and then it'll go down to 16. Ended up getting it for $14.99, so I was like, fuck it, I'm grabbing it. I love this movie. I watched it again, and it just, I think this is one of the greatest films like ever made, to be honest. It's just so much fucking fun. So awesome. It's violent too. Like, I just, you know, watching again when he kills that one fucking raptor or whatever, he breaks his neck and shit, I'm just like, it's so awesome. But King Kong, fucking awesome shit right there. And that is going to do it for the update. I don't have any box sets or anything too spectacular, just a lot of pretty decent goodies in this one. But yeah, I'm missing a lot of stuff, and I'm glad I got this update done because heading to Wasteland in, you know, a couple days, and I'll have a Wasteland update. I'll probably end up picking quite a few stuff up there. I know I'm going to hit up the toe tag table, and massacre video table, and some other tables specifically, and just clean them out of everything that I've been looking forward to grabbing. So, but yeah, I should have a pretty decent update from Wasteland. So I guess I'll talk to you guys then. And of course, I'll have my update for the end of the month too. Got a bunch of Scream Factory stuff coming in. Actually, tons of releases in April. A lot of Blu-ray. So my update won't be as big for DVDs and shit because it's kind of like a Blu-ray month. It's kind of strange, but anyways, guys, that's going to do it for the update. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave comments down below, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.